Great news. We want to hear from you. We want your questions, your thoughts, all of that good stuff. And you can email us now at podcast@mancity.com.
The ladder and the rose petals was definitely
I need some context
something
for
to
that.
remember.
So Jade's standing there, petals falling down, really cinematic. What you didn't see, but me up a ladder with a box of roses, and they miss Jade completely. Luckily, you get to do another go, and it was the perfect shot.
Yeah.
So,
like you said, I think it was like 3 rose petals that trickled down my left shoulder, and I was like, oh, okay.
The official Manchester City podcast. Watch the full video version of this show via City Plus now.
well, Jade, welcome on to the official Manchester City podcast. Just firstly, how are you feeling to be sat with me and FG?
I'm super excited. Yeah, thank you for having me.
More to the point, how are we feeling to be sat with Jade?
Oh, I'm absolutely buzzing. Yeah, absolutely. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm really happy to be here. Obviously, you've just arrived in Manchester. Sun's shining today.
Yeah.
How are you feeling? How's it been so far?
I mean, the weather's been nice the past couple of days, so I can't complain. Training's been good. I'm getting settled, getting a lay of the land, learning the city, so really excited.
Yeah, how have those first few weeks been? I was there for your signing day. I remember you'd only been in the country, 48 hours, maybe even less. So have you been able to settle in, maybe see your surroundings, obviously teammates? How are you settling in?
Yeah, I think that obviously I think we're about approaching 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks now. So I've settled down a little bit, gotten used to the city, been able to explore a little bit and see what Manchester has to offer. Been going out a lot on my off days, finding cool little cafes and coffee shops to go to, mostly recommended by the team. But yeah, it's been a fun little bit just to explore the city and to just, I guess, be free. Yeah,
we know how much the group love their coffee, so I'm sure you'll fit right in.
Yes, I'm not short on recommendations. I asked and I got about like 15 of them.
Okay.
So.
Who is the one that you go to in the team for the recommendations, and who doesn't give you good recommendations?
Honestly, I've gotten pretty good recommendations from everyone, so I can't say that one particular person has been bad.
Very safe answer.
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah.
I'm not going to throw anyone under the bus, but I heard that Mary had some pretty good coffee recommendations, and a couple of people had given me, I guess, the recommendations that they got from her. So
Nice.
Yeah, nice. So on these podcasts, we usually go back to the start of your footballing journey, I suppose. So obviously in Canada growing up, what would you say your first memories of playing football are? Feel free to call it soccer if you need to on this podcast. That's fine.
No, it's okay. I'm definitely going to call it football. I don't want to get made fun of in the comments. But football had always been a part of my family. My mom played growing up, and it was the first sport that I was put into. And my mom always tells me now that when I was younger, she always tried to put me in other sports, like see if I liked anything else. And I would always complain that it got in the way of my football practice. And so I don't know what it was that drew me into the sport, but from a very young age, I decided that I was going to be a football player. One of my earliest memories, I was playing back home, we call it Timbit soccer. It's like, I guess, what 4 and 5-year-olds play. It's just house league. But I was too scared to run down the pitch, and so my mom held my hand the entire game and ran me up and down the sidelines. I don't think I touched the ball once, but I just followed the play up and down the pitch. And that's, I guess, one of my earliest memories.
That sounds a bit like me and you at 5-a-side,
yeah.
mate. Not wanting to touch the ball.
I'm holding his hand during 5-a-side. What was it like in terms of the moment that you decided, okay, what point did you think I can actually make a career out of this? Because you've had an incredible journey, which we'll obviously get onto in a minute, but what was the moment where you thought, I can actually make a career out of this?
I don't know if I necessarily had a moment where I recognized my own skill and then had, I guess, an aha moment that I can make a career out of it. I think it was more so the 2012 Olympics and seeing Canada win bronze that I was like, I want to be that. I want to represent my country. I want to do this for a living. And then I was 8 at the time. And then from 8 years old onwards, I had in my mind that I was going to be a footballer, and there wasn't any other question in my mind. And I mean, even now, there's no way that I could ever work a 9-to-5. So I'd say it worked out for me.
I remember doing the research for when you were coming into the club, and your parents played sports, is that right? So
Yeah.
so a sporting family. Can just talk us through, your dad American football, and then your mum played it's like a game like hockey, is that right, in Canada?
So my mom played both football and ringette growing up. So ringette's, for those who don't know, is pretty similar to hockey. It's just instead of having a stick that's shaped like an L or a J, it's just a straight stick, and then it's a ring instead of a puck. I don't know all the rules and the technicalities, but it's pretty similar. So she played that in the winter, then in the summertime played football, and she played throughout her childhood up until university, but at the time there wasn't a lot of structure around women's football back home, and progressing into the national team and even professional leagues, and there wasn't much beyond the university level, and so she played until then, and then kind of joined your Sunday league, team, and yeah, I think that was her career. Then my dad played American football growing up, and he played in semi-professional leagues back home in Canada. And yeah, he played until he was, I want to say 35, so pretty old. Yeah, he was kind of pushing it. He was kind of pushing the career, but he played for a very long time, and he still goes and coaches high school teams and local teams here and there when he has time. But I'd say my family is pretty involved in the sports world.
So obviously you've come from the sports world background. You've went to Harvard University, which is an incredible story in itself, right?
Yeah.
But you were also, so talk us through that then. Was the goal always, of course, you mentioned when you spoke to Sam earlier on, education's really important when you first signed at City. Was education first, or was it always still football in the back of your mind when you went to Harvard? Because you mentioned you played with players who are now playing at international level there as well.
It's interesting. I don't think that it was ever one or the other. I think it was always, in my mind, both. Growing up, my parents asked very, very little of us. Obviously, we had to do our chores and our homework and stuff like that and try our best. But the one thing my dad always wanted of us was for us to graduate university, and for him to see us walk across a stage and to shake a dean's hand and to get a diploma. He himself didn't go to university, and he recognizes that's always been his biggest regret, and he was very clear with me and my siblings about that. And so he was like, I don't want you to make the same mistakes that I did, and so I want you to go to university. It's going to open so many doors for you. And so I think because that was ingrained in me from a very young age, that then academics was super important to me. I don't think that negated my love for the game. I think it was just the two coexisting at the same time.
Wow.
It's just
it's hard to work out how you found the time to do this. Are you thinking the same as me?
Yeah, I just from I think I said to you when you first signed that in this country we don't really know much about the collegiate system. Yeah. All we know is probably here Harvard, Legally Blonde, something like that. That's
what most people hear.
Yeah. So how do yourself and others get to Harvard? How do you get that maybe education, sports, scholarship? What is the road to a school that prestigious?
Yeah, I think that it's very different for Americans and Canadians. I think that the American youth system has built a pathway that goes directly to U.S. universities. I think that the Canadian route is a little bit more complicated. For me personally, I received interest through my participation with our youth program. So I think it was the 17s and the U20 level that coaches were able to see me and then reach out from there. I think it's very different for players who aren't necessarily in the national team system, and I think it's a lot more difficult. The onus is really on the players to go to scouting tournaments in the U.S. and to be recognized from there. But thankfully I played on the national team and got some recognition from there, and that's where a lot of the coaches had reached out from. So I'd say that was kind of my route to Harvard.
So she got scouted for Harvard.
Yeah.
There are levels. There are levels to this.
Yeah.
That is unbelievable. You mentioned as well when you were speaking to Sam when you signed, you had teammates who have gone on to play for the national team. You played for Canada as well, right?
Yeah.
You played international football, you played at Harvard, and then you studied and got a degree.
Yeah.
How much free time did you have? Or have you just been working
None.
really, really hard?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that I had a lot of free time. I think that throughout high school and then going to college, I learned very quickly how to manage my time and how to make a schedule.
Yeah.
Me and my Google Calendar are logged in
Okay.
like this.
I was going to say, it sounds ever so slightly
We need to
different to
take
my
some advice.
to my university career,
Yeah,
but
honestly, like
yeah.
every 5 to 10 minutes of my day were planned out in university. So it took a lot of planning and a lot of commitment. But yeah.
When you signed, I wrote an article,
Mm-hmm.
cheap plug, on your Harvard. You can check it out on mancity.com and the app, on your career at Harvard. So many records. I just noticed the records and so many standout moments. What are those moments when playing football for Harvard that stand out for you?
It's interesting because I think that the American system is built on records, and I have never come across a landscape or a system that keeps track of so many things. Speaking frankly, the records don't really mean anything to me because at the end of the day, it's a team sport, and I care about the wins and the losses. I don't really care about what I necessarily achieved as an individual. Obviously those matter in terms of like getting better and progressing, but the Ivy League Defensive Player of the Year, like those kinds of things don't mean that much to me. I think the one that really sticks with me is winning the first ever Ivy League tournament. For it to be in its inaugural year, and for us we had a tough season that year. We should have won games that we didn't. We definitely didn't make it easy for ourselves, and we had a lot of a tougher route to the finals than we should have. But to come out with the win, I think that's something that will definitely stick with me for the rest of my life.
Before we get onto the Man City side, another question for you. Has it always been the position you wanted to play in the back four? Obviously, you're very versatile. Yeah. You can play full-back, centre-half. Or have you ever had a part in your career where you've moved further up the pitch?
I mean, once upon a time, I was an attacking midfielder. And then I got invited to my first ever, it's honestly quite funny, I got invited to my first ever national team camp. I think this was U15s, and in the airport, on the way to we had left the airport, we're now in the car on the way to the hotel, and the coach at the time said, "Oh, by the way, you're not going to play in the midfield, you're going to be playing as a center back."
Okay.
How did you feel when that?
Honestly, my heart dropped. I was already nervous going into it, and then that kind of multiplied it 10 times. I wasn't really ready for that, to be at my first ever national camp and then having to learn a new position in 7 days. So that was definitely a lot. But I wouldn't say I chose the position, but I think that the position chose me, and honestly, I'm happy with how it's worked out.
Shout out to the coaching team
Yeah,
as well.
absolutely.
That is, what was that game like then, the first game when you were playing there? Obviously, there's a lot to
Yeah.
learn, the game's so fast-paced.
To be fair, I don't think that we played a game. I think we only played an inter squad, so the stakes weren't that high, which definitely made it better, but I can't say it was my best performance ever. So we'll just leave that footage wherever it may be.
We'll try and find
think
that.
Sam will-
No, it's
Sam
okay.
will-
We can just leave it.
So yeah, we'll move on to Manchester City now. Obviously, I asked you about the journey from getting to Harvard. So what does it look like? You graduate at Harvard and then you end up at Manchester City. How does that journey look? Who did you have conversations with? You obviously mentioned scouting by Harvard. Obviously, City would have done the same. But how do you get from there to Manchester?
It was definitely a complicated journey. I think that the NCAA, which is the governing body in the U.S., has a lot of rules and stipulations on what players can do when they transition from the collegiate level to pro. So I wasn't allowed to sign with my agent until I had finished my senior season. So that was this past November, December-ish. And then I wasn't allowed to obviously sign with City until I was graduated from university. So there were so it was a very, I guess, busy time because we had just ended our Harvard season. I signed with my agent kind of as soon as possible, or as soon as I made my decision. And then from then on, it was, all right, let's start talking to clubs as I guess quickly as we possibly can, so that by the time the window opened that I'd be ready. So So yeah, it was a very busy time, a lot of Zoom calls. I was also studying for exams at the same time, so it was very, very go.
Is that where the sort of planner came into
for sure.
The 10-minute schedules, there's
Yeah.
levels to it.
Yeah.
Had you been to the UK before you arrived in Manchester?
I've been briefly. The Harvard team actually made we had a spring break trip to Manchester and London 2 years ago, and then I've been I played England with the full team, and we were at St. George's Park. So I've been to the UK briefly, but I wouldn't say that I've been here on my own and like actually gone to see things. It was just the inside of a hotel, a pitch, back and forth.
Yeah.
So obviously, like, you're in a dressing room with superstars within the women's game. You arrive. What was your first day of training like? Who was the person that took you under their wing, so to speak, and what can you remember from that first day?
Bunny definitely took me under her wing and showed me around the facility. It is, I'd say, an easier facility to navigate because it's just a circle, but somehow I still ended up getting lost.
Don't worry, we've all been there. We've all been there.
Yeah, so I definitely had to leave like 5 minutes early to get to meetings and stuff just to make sure that I was there on time. But yeah, Bunny took me under her wing, showed me around, helped me get to training on time, showed me kind of all the ins and outs of a day of training and what that looked like. And, you know, I think that she's definitely made an effort to check in on me and to make sure that, you know, every so often to make sure that I'm doing all right if I need anything, to make sure that things are just going smoothly. And the other day we actually went out to get some Jamaican food together, so that was nice to kind of just, you know, be with people, but just outside of
it sounds
football.
like from what you've said already so far that the squad isn't just here, it extends outside. Talk about coffee and going for food there with Bunny. How nice is that for you as a new player to know that the friendships formed here aren't just in this circle, I was going to say four walls, but in this circle, but also go out into Manchester as well?
Yeah, I think it makes the world a difference. I think that especially when speaking about in terms of creating a good team culture and, you know, in those tough moments when it's like the 90th minute and you're really pushing, like having the foundation of those friendships and knowing that people are invested in you, not only as players, but also as people, and that they truly have your back and it's not just a superficial relationship. I think that's what takes teams from being good to great. And I think also speaking from the perspective of someone who's just moved here, I'm in a new environment, you know, I'm not living at home, so much new in my life to be able to just send someone a quick text to ask a question, or, you know, the other day Bex had invited me out to coffee, just like little things like that to show that, you know, people are there for you, and if you ever do need someone, you have someone to go to. It is really nice.
Going back to the Jamaican food with Bunny, what was your order and how did you rate it?
I'll rate it an 8 out of 10. I definitely think that Toronto's Jamaican food is really hard to beat. Okay. Also, my grandparents' cooking is pretty hard to beat as well. But we went to Sunrise and I got, I call it curry goat. I'm pretty sure it's called curry mutton here.
Yeah.
So I got a split of that jerk chicken and rice and peas.
Nice. Rice and peas, can't go
Yeah,
wrong.
you can't go wrong. Can't go wrong. And then let's talk about your signing day, because I know we said earlier you'd only been in the country 48 hours and then you're sat opposite me, which again you're doing today. So again, we'll sorry about that.
No worries.
But at the day as a whole, just talk us through it. What was it like? Because I know obviously your dad was there with us as well. Yeah. What was that day like for you?
It was amazing. It was more than I ever imagined it would have been. Like you said, I was only here for 48 hours, so it was a quick trip. I remember getting in and it was honestly hard going to sleep because I was so excited. I mean, I was jet lagged and exhausted, but at the same time, it was hard to fall asleep because I was just so excited about the next day. And then to be here to see the beautiful grass pitches, which we don't have back home. So to see this many grass pitches is honestly a dream come true. But yeah, to be here to see, I guess, get a taste of what the next 4 years was going to look like. It was amazing. And to be able to share that moment with my dad, who has seen me in all the highs and the lows, you know, from when I was 4 years old running down the field with my mom holding her hand to, you know, then flying to the Olympics to see me, and every single moment in between, to be able to share that first city experience with him was was really, touching and really memorable.
It must be so proud of you. So you arrived, you mentioned the grass pitches you don't have
Yeah.
back home, a word on the facilities here, and of course there's a women's training ground which is on the way soon. That must excite you so much that Man City obviously puts so much into the women's game, and it's clear to see.
Yeah, I think that it's incredible to see the amount of investment and the amount of support that the women's game has here. I think that it's something that the rest of the world is trying to emulate, and the rest of the world is growing to do. But yeah, it's super exciting to see the women's game grow and to see, the women get the investment that they deserve.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
absolutely. How did you find what we were sort of getting you to do on that media day? Because I was up a ladder chucking rose petals. I may have missed the first time.
So let's add some context to this. Obviously, I wasn't there, but I hear a lot about these media days. They're a lot more than normal. So for people listening into the podcast now, that day, there's a lot that goes on there. From your eyes, what did it look like? And how did it feel like as well?
There was a lot going on. Honestly, there were so many moving parts, and people were just buzzing around me, and I was kind of just frozen in place. Like, I didn't really know what to do or where to go. I was just being told where to stand and how to pose and stuff like that. And it was really organized. I was just like, wow, everyone is moving at a million miles an hour.
Did you expect it to be like that?
I don't know. I don't really know if I came in with any expectations. I think I was just shocked at how on point everybody was. And then the ladder and the rose petals was definitely
I need some context
something
here.
to remember.
So, as I'm sure everyone would have seen on Instagram, the reveal was brilliant, put together by our features team and our social media team of Jade standing there, the rose petals falling down, really cinematic. What you didn't see behind off camera was me up a ladder with a box of roses, rose petals, and I was said to by the team running it, this is one take, we can't miss it. So I was already nervous. As I throw the box, the roses get stuck and they miss Jade completely. Luckily, not all of them came out, so I get to do another go, and it was the perfect shot. So
it did look. I thought it was from
great,
the roof, so I feel
no,
a bit
it
disappointed. Did. It was you up a ladder.
not my forte.
It did turn out really well, because the first shot, like you said, I think it was like 3 rose petals that trickled down my left shoulder, and I was like, oh, okay.
So, like, your group of friends and like other extended family members, did they know that you were signing for Man City at this point, or when the announcement went out, did you just get flooded with messages of good luck, etc.?
The majority of my close family knew. It's kind of hard to keep a secret that you're flying to the UK for 48 hours. So yeah, I had told the majority of my family at that point, and then some of my close friends, I obviously didn't want to blast it out there, and I wanted to
just make sure it happens.
Not jinx myself and stuff like that. So I kept it in a pretty tight circle, I'd say. And then when it got announced, my phone did blow up. I was answering messages for the next 2.5 days.
Who maybe sent the nicest message, and who would you say sent you a message that you weren't expecting? Was there anyone that you maybe hadn't spoken to many times before, and you were kind of like really buzzing to see their name come up?
I'd say that the most touching message was definitely from my mom. I did expect a message from her, so I guess it doesn't really answer your question, but it was definitely one of the most touching messages. It brought me to tears. She kind of just reminded me of where I've come from and everything that has happened in my career so far, and all the moments that she's been able to see, and especially all those moments where people have doubted you and told you that you're making the wrong decision or whatever it may be. All those moments when then I may have doubted myself and then pushed through that, and to now be in the position that I am, she just, I guess, reminded me of everything that I've overcome, which was really
lovely.
nice.
That is really nice. Yeah, it's great to see that you're here, of course, and the fans were really happy about it at the open training at the Joy as well. What was that experience like? Because it was something pretty incredible from the club anyway, bringing the men's and women's teams together. First things first, being there in that atmosphere, everything. What was that like for you?
It was honestly a really cool environment. I've never done an open training before, but it was really cool to see. I think that, I guess from a fan's perspective, it's definitely nice to see the ins and outs of the team that you're supporting. And I think also for me, being a new player at the club, it's really important for me to see how much this team means to this city. Obviously, I've come here with the intention to be competitive, to win games, to battle week in and week out, but to see what it means to fans whose generations of families have supported this team, I think that's also really important, because that's something that I personally haven't experienced. And it was just really nice to see and to hear and to be able to give them a wave and say hi.
How excited are you for that first game at the Joy? Now it's a Friday night against Brighton. It'll be under the lights, I'm sure it'll be full. How much are you looking forward to that one?
I'm super excited for it. They always say that Friday night games under the lights are the best ones. I'm just really excited to step on that pitch and to see the fans, to see the stadium full, and to really get to embrace every single moment.
Is there a game that you're looking forward to, or a player that you're looking forward to playing against potentially? Or
I think that the media have seen a little bit of this, but one of my closest friends, Simi Wujo, plays, and Jade Rose, they both play on Manchester United. And so I am super excited for the derby, but also more so because there's like an extra layer in there for me. We've already at camp started having little arguments and going back and forth about it.
I think I've seen it was mic'd up. And
I was doing a mic'd up about it, and I was kind of nagging her and getting at her. So I think that's going to be an ongoing thing.
You're going to fit in just fine in Manchester
with
that attitude, as long as you keep flying the blue flag for sure.
Those derby games mean so much to everyone here. So to know that there's even added extra for you, that's it's absolutely great to hear, and I know you'll absolutely thrive in those games. First game though, and a player that you've played before that we've seen in Chelsea and Sam Kerr. I think one of the games that maybe brought a lot of attention to you was your performance against her for Canada. Yeah. As a young player, just as a test as a whole, how was that experience to come up against her? And by all accounts, did really well that night too.
Yeah, I mean, it was there was a lot of moving parts behind that game. I wasn't originally supposed to start in that game. I found out in the pregame meeting that I was starting, because a player had gotten injured in pregame practice. So I hadn't done pre-training in the team's formation whatsoever, and I was told with I imagine it was 3 or 4 hours before kickoff that I was starting. So, which honestly, some may see it as a reason to be extremely nervous, but I think because I wasn't able to build it up in my head so much, that it honestly helped me. Sam Kerr is an incredible player who deserves so much respect, but I think that sometimes respect can almost border fear, and I think I definitely respect her as a player, but I think not knowing this until 4 hours early kind of kept me away from fearing her. And I think that's why I was able to perform so well, because I was unable to kind of psych myself out of the game.
I feel like you thrive under pressure then. So we found out that you went to camp as an attacking midfielder, and then we're being told you're playing in defence, and then straight away against Sam Kerr. What's Bunny been like in training? Have you gone up against her or any of our attacking players?
I've yet to go up against Bunny. I've gone up a lot against Amon, a lot against Lily, who is incredibly rapid on the ball, and up a lot against Poppy as of late. So just getting used to new players, different styles of play. But I am looking forward to matching up against Bunny in training.
Absolutely. I think when we speak to a lot of the defenders here, they always tell us that is have that every day in training. It's probably the best possible preparation you can have for the WSL. Just before we get into the quick fire round, just wanted to ask you quickly, obviously working with Andre and looking at the season ahead, how are you feeling as a player, as a group, working under him and then looking towards the upcoming season?
I think it's just exciting. I think that sometimes it's good to have change, to just have a change of pace, to have new eyes to look at things, to have a new voice that's relaying feedback. And obviously, with it being my first year at the professional level, I don't really know what to expect. I haven't had a previous experience, and so I'm kind of just here as a sponge, taking in all the information that I can, having as much feedback, as many meetings as I can, to go over clips, whatever it may be, to just prepare myself for the start of the season.
Brilliant. Okay, we'll go into the quick fire round now. Firstly, what would you say your favourite cheat meal is?
My favorite cheat meal. I'm kind of a sucker for a Krispy Kreme donut.
Ooh. Do you like the hot donuts as well?
When they're just the simple glazed, when they're fresh out of the fryer, are the best.
Can I ask? And this is, you've probably been asked this a million times. Poutine.
Personally, so I don't like cheese, which I know a lot of people are going to get on me for.
So it's chips. Essentially, this is going to sound the most British version of how I'm going to describe your national dish. So apologies if I sort of. Anyway, chips, gravy, and cheese.
Yep.
That sounds
pretty good.
That's all it is.
Okay.
And honestly, a lot of people rave about it. I haven't had an original version of it because I don't like cheese.
Okay.
So I usually go without the cheese curds and just have
chips
and
gravy.
Chips and gravy. Well, again,
which I honestly don't complain about either. So
fit in really well up here then.
I might have some chips and gravy after this.
We have to take Jade to your favourite spot. First footballer that you idolised?
For Christine Sinclair. Yes.
Nice. One thing that maybe shocked you or surprised you about Manchester?
I guess the way that you can experience all 4 seasons in one day.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's something that surprised
very
me.
accurate.
Dream centre-back partner, who would you go for? It can be anyone in the world, past or present, anyone.
That's a really tough question. I'm super excited to play against Alex, but I definitely say that Vanessa Gilles and Quiche and I have grown a tight bond back at Canada.
Yeah, brilliant. Who is your go-to artist on your sort of pre-match playlist?
Burna Boy.
We've seen Burna Boy with the England team. You have to ask the Lionesses about that when they come back.
Yeah, I was definitely jealous when I saw him up on stage.
And if you weren't a footballer, what would you be doing? Well,
I mean,
it could be anything.
There's a lot of
the world
options.
is Jade's oyster.
I probably would have gone back to school at this point to become a sports psychologist.
Brilliant.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Within sport. Nice.
Yeah. And just finally, before we let you go, it's been again an absolutely brilliant episode. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you guys.
What would you just like to say to the City fans who will be listening to this podcast and watching too?
I'm super excited to play for you guys. You guys are our 12th man out there, so I can't wait to see you guys at the Joy. Show up, be loud, and cheer us on for the rest of the season.
Show up, be loud, and cheer us on. I love it. And if you could nominate anybody from the club to be on this podcast next, who would it be and why?
I mean, since we've already talked about her, I think that Bunny would be a great person to have. Great energy. So yeah,
for sure. Well, thank you very much. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you guys so
much. Good luck with life in Manchester.
Thank you.
The unbeatable official Manchester City podcast. Watch the full video version of this show via City Plus now.
Got a question? Send us an email at podcast@mancity.com.